What's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 1 of No Late Fees. And today, Leo and I are going to discuss the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie from 1995. Not the 2017 one.
We are kicking it old school.
Yeah, so we're talking about this fucking movie.
And what is there to say about this movie? So much from my childhood. It just brings me back.
Yeah, like I obviously, you and I grew up like Turtles fans, and basically right after like Turtle Mania started like dying down a little bit, the Power Rangers just took over. That was like the next level of like kids our age, and the show was kicking ass. The toys were everywhere, and it just kind of made sense to like eventually Hollywood's gonna do a fucking movie, and here it is.
After I think they did 2 seasons before the movie came out, so that was the perfect kind of bridge into that 3rd season.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this movie technically not canon towards like...
That is correct. In the series, at least, they had a different storyline as to how they got their like ninja powers and the Megazords. So this was not exactly canon, but now that they have the Power Rangers, I guess technically multiverse, they have different dimensions that different sets of Rangers live in. So technically it could be in a different universe.
Yeah, it was close enough where like the average like moviegoer or like casual fan wouldn't really know the difference, but it's just kind of weird that they didn't make it canon. They could have kind of like took a thing like an episode maybe where it would have connected to the movie and would have drove you to see the movie even more. This is the first time where it was 100% like Saban footage, like American footage, and they didn't like integrate the Japanese footage into the American show.
Which is why when we get there, those Zords.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. But it's so like the movie, everything that you want as a fan of the 90s, like cheesy, like action sports type stuff. The movie opens up with it. It's way too fucking long, but there's a skydiving scene for whatever fucking reason.
This movie is what makes me to this day still want to go skydiving. Like for the last few years, I've been saying I want to go skydiving. I want to go skydiving. It's because of this opening. I just want to have this song playing and just be like flying down from the heavens. Not on a snowboard, unfortunately, but like
you gotta get
my Power Ranger fantasy.
You got to get 5 more of your friends, though, to each wear, like, matching Ranger colors.
Maybe I can convince them to let me wear this.
And then it follows up with another extensive fucking action sports scene, and it's them rollerblading, which, dude, when you take both of those scenes and time them, it's over 7 minutes of skydiving and rollerblading. Like, I get it. You want to, like, kind of, like, do the 90s thing that was cool back then, and kind of like show off the action sports, especially rollerblading. Rollerblading was huge back then.
Huge.
But like, it's so cheesy the way like you can tell like they're like posing for the camera with all like the jumps and stuff they're doing.
I was going to say, that's what I wrote down. I was like, did really each one of them have to do a bunny hop at one point just to like show that they can?
Yeah, it's like obvious where like the camera's right here and they're like, whoa.
All of those shots, though, like it still comes. It's classic for me. Like that's just classic Power Rangers. That over the head shot. Whenever I see that, it flips or anything, it just brings me right back to there. So like they do a good job on playing up to those things, but boy, is it corny sometimes.
Yeah, especially looking back at it now. We see a construction crew unearths a giant egg.
They don't even make any reference to eggs at any point at any time later in the movie, so the egg makes 0 sense.
Yeah,
sewer grate. So it's a sewer egg with a dead hand holding it up.
And Ivan OOZE is in there, and then the Rangers go there, and this is the first fight scene in the movie, and it's just them as civilians, like they're not in their outfits yet, and so it breaks out. There's a fight with Ivan OOZE's lackeys. And dude, this might be the worst song that was either made for a movie specifically, or even worse, they heard the song and they're like, we are going to pay the rights to get this song in our movie.
Action boy now.
Yes.
Action
girl
now.
Action boy now. Action girl now. Be prepared to surf across the ocean. Dude, this song is so bad. So fucking bad.
I will say though, the addition of all the every
Oh, they
time
do
they did
everything.
any kind of movement was by far my favorite part of any kind of fight scene in this beginning part, because they went ham on all the extraness. I would love to see a behind the scenes video of someone having to like either push a button or create that sound for
Yeah.
every time and just be like,
The Action Boys song is over it, and this whole scene it's kind of like everything you want from the Power Rangers show, but like turned up to like 12. It's just
yeah.
full of terrible one-liners.
Kiss the makeup.
Use, you lose. Let me get the door.
And for some reason, did you notice, like, so if you were running from, like, trying to, like, evade a bad guy, would you flip and cartwheel everywhere? Like, I'm going this way. Instead of running that way, they do cartwheels and backflips that way.
See ya.
Right behind you, Kimberly.
Like,
I mean, it does exude a different amount of energy. But
Yeah.
if you've got the momentum going for you, then by all means, like, flip at it, man.
like there's one scene where, like, Billy goes to check on, I think it's Aisha. And he's like, are you okay?
You okay?
Or like Kimberly did it, and then Billy,
Yeah.
right behind you, Kimberly.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
right
just-
behind
yeah.
her. Yeah, the one-liners are
I-
just classic MMPR, but it's fucking on a whole nother level of just cheese.
Big time. I will
Yeah.
say though, the like OOZE putties that are used in this one fight scene and not used again, I would have really liked to see more of them, especially because like while the OOZE like face smushing CG was not great. Like I would have liked to still see
the double kick.
Yeah.
It
where,
just
like,
goes. Wow. We see, like, once they get their suits on and they fight, which is it's so hilariously bad. They get kicked or like hit into like an object and they fucking explode for some reason. They just
Now they
explode
have
into purple
power.
ooze.
Now they have more power, so they have the ability to make them disintegrate into ooze instead of just punching them in solid form.
Yeah,
Duh,
and
Tom, the power is
cartoon
everything.
squeezing with cartoon sound effects over the head squish. And I don't know how you feel about them personally, but the suits just look off in this movie. I know they were like, at the time, like the big rubber look was like, the Batman movies and stuff like that. So they were probably going for like something like that. But it just looks weird. Even the helmets look like off, like especially Kimberly's. Her like the mouth looks like pointy in like a weird way.
I was gonna say they definitely redesigned it where instead of like a pink all the way around, they just did the detail and they added an extra like curve to it. So it kind
Did
of
the
was like
curve go like over the mouth kind of or something? It
yeah,
looked like
it was almost like the bottom of the wing that they were kind of, I think, going for, like that effect, but it
Yeah.
really didn't pull the outfits together. They were, I see where they were going more of like an armored, kind of a thicker build to it.
yeah.
Where in theory it definitely works, but yeah, it wasn't the spandex that we grew
The
to
spandex
love.
works. The spandex works, man. So after this scene, like we get like no, actually it's first off, it's during the scene. We get what is Billy's like grappling hook called? Like the Stega Stinger or something?
Yeah, Stega Stinger. Well, I was gonna say because him and Kimberly didn't get, well, Kimberly got a different design on her helmet, but everyone else got either a newer helmet or like Tommy got Saba, which is a talking weapon. So like I'll kind of count that as his like addition.
Yeah,
But like apparently in the deleted scenes, Adam was supposed to have like a sonic like hearing one, so it was supposed to be like a thicker on the outside build.
Jesus.
Like Aisha had the lights.
The lights.
And Rocky had the scanner.
Yeah, he had like the
So
scanner
like
in his
each one
visor.
was supposed to have something different. I would like to see what they did with Tommy's helmet if they were to do like something different.
The Stega Stinger is so fucking slow.
Did you miss me?
Like, here I come. Hold on. So hold on, dude. I'll be right there. Just give me like 45 more seconds.
It takes almost longer than it takes them to morph.
Yeah. At this
You gotta
point, he
be
probably
kind
could
of-
have got a fucking ladder and just ran up there. And at least with like Aisha's like the lights on the helmet, you see him like turn on or whatever. But with the scanner thing, it would have been cool if you saw it like go like or something. But it's just like it's like activate scanner or whatever he says, and like you just cut to his helmet already has like the Cyclops visor going across, and he's just scanning around like looking for him. It just something about it just looked weird.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely made some interesting armor choices in the TV show. Like the metallic armor was the worst choice they could have made for armor.
Their classic weapons are so iconic. Like, why fuck with it?
Right,
You know what I
and I
mean?
would have loved to see like the Power Blaster come together in movie form, or like if it wouldn't have been the Power Blaster because Tommy was involved, so
Yeah,
Sam
yeah.
would have to be involved. But even still,
There's some of the best / worst wire work I've ever fucking seen in this scene. Like, dude,
Yep.
Tommy does a kick, and it's straight up like a Liu Kang bicycle kick, and he's like da 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 da, and he's kicking him for like 5 seconds, like just boom. Then the guy fucking explodes, of course. Ivan Ooze destroys the command center, and we see that Zordon is dying now.
now this whole Zordon dying thing is kind of confusing because the way it's kind of portrayed is that Zordon lives in the tube instead of just being a floating head that's stuck in a time vortex. So like it's a weird projection kind of thing of Zordon as opposed to the what we came to understand of Zordon. And they
Yeah,
went
Zordon.
from
They
these two,
gave him
like-
they gave him a new design in this too. Like it looks weird even when like he's in the
I don't
tube.
think it was new design altogether. I don't think it was David Fielding who did it.
Yeah. Well, he like notoriously is known for he did like a couple scenes where like he filmed like the face shots, and then they just blurred his mouth out and used his scenes like after he wasn't even employed there anymore for the rest of the
like, once
the
the
rest
voice
of the
a couple of times, like it's just the same face, just
yeah. That's why his mouth is like covered up when he's moving. You can't really like see what he's saying because they just use the same graphic over and over again. Of course, there's a MacGuffin that Alpha tells him about that's on some fucking planet that obviously isn't Earth when they get there. Yeah, it's like a great power. They have to go, and this is the MacGuffin they're chasing, and that'll save Zordon, and that's where we're going, I guess.
you always got to rely on the McMuffin for them to chase after.
Yeah. So then the Rangers get to the new planet, and we see some Tango Warriors, which is always nice to see. The Tango Warriors never like filled the void for me when it came to like in comparison to like the Putties, but it was still cool to see the Tango Warriors.
It was nice to have a villain that had a flying aspect, so it gave the Rangers more mobility, a little bit more that they could do in the fights, I felt
Yeah,
like.
yeah. The Rangers come across a new character. Of course, it's the
Right.
90s, so it's got to be a half-naked, sexy Xena warrior princess type character.
Dulcia.
And of course, dude, thank God for them. She knows everything they have to do, where they have to go, what they have to get. She knows how to solve all their problems. She knows who Ivan Ooze is. She knows who Zordon is, and she helps them.
Which is great because, I mean, thankfully she was the narration voice at the beginning for the Star Wars movie crawl explaining all
was
the
she?
things.
Was
Yeah,
she?
that-
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
that was that voice. So I think that was the only tie-in of between her and Zordon was that she was the one kind of narrating this.
That fucking crawl was like 3 minutes, by the way. I forgot to even talk about that.
And terribly, terribly awkward.
Yeah.
But it was interesting to look up afterwards to find out that Mariska Hargitay was cast as Dulcia. To see some pictures as like a super like dark haired Dulcia gives it a different kind of feel to it.
She blows like a fucking pixie dust at them, and that's how they get the Ninja Ranger powers.
Well, I mean, you skipped over 8 years worth of walking because
Well, the walking's coming.
We're officially at the point in the movie where like we just have to walk everywhere.
My next note was literally the Rangers do a lot of walking. Then we see that Ivan Ooze has enslaved the citizens of Angel Grove, and for some reason he makes them dance.
Hey, you! Dance. Do the swim.
Him being a master of disguise, he uses it in the best and worst ways. Like, he went on TV and dressed as an awkward purple clown to sell his ooze to
Yeah, he was
control
like
parent.
a scummy like car salesman, like a used car salesman.
He has the ability earlier on. He was disguised as a security guard with like full on able to change the pigment of his skin and everything. So like, why are you using it so terribly just to sell your ooze when you could be like the president or like someone of influence and then be like, here, everyone buy this?
Because it's a Power Rangers movie. It can't take place in the rest of the world. It has to stay in Angel Grove first.
You're right. I forgot Power Ranger logic. Damn.
So then we get, of course, more walking, and the Rangers find some fucking pyramid thing, and they unlock the abilities to get their powers back.
Oh, I was gonna say, while they were walking, they experienced some of the good CGI in this movie, which was that whole like bone scene. Like
Yeah,
that was
the Jurassic Park type thing.
That was way better, like puppetry and CGI than we get from later on in the movie. But like it was okay. Like art gave me hope for this movie. Where I was like, okay, let's go. We're actually gonna have a little bit of something to carry us through, because boy, we had hit
It gets bad.
We hit the wall at this point.
You complimented that CGI scene, so take that, swallow it, realize that's the last good tasting food you're gonna have, and just prepare for absolute dog shit.
Yo, Fossil Head! I've got a bone to pick with you!
And of course, there's like the 10th fucking scene where Tommy saves Kimberly, which happens like a handful of times.
Hang on, Kimberly!
I wrote the same time too. I was like, really? We have to save Kimberly from everything?
Yeah. Help me, Tommy. Tommy, help. Tommy! I'm not going to lie. I kind of enjoyed it as a kid because obviously you had a crush on her. We all had crushes on Kimberly. So, like, I kind of low-key pretended like she was talking to me and asking me for help. What she was screaming, Tommy, please help me. Tommy! Don't worry, Kim. I got you, baby. I'm coming. We get the intro to the terrible fucking CGI when the Zords come. And, like, I get it. It was the 90s. Don't get me wrong. Like, CGI was nowhere near where it is today. But at that point, like, the battles, whenever there was Zords, it was always live-action prosthetics or, like, suits. Why not just go that route? Why not just go that route? Like, you would kind of keep it the way it's been with the show and what fans come to expect. But then you do this, and dude, it looks bad.
Even Ivan's CGI for this whole fight, like the ectomorphicons just look awful.
Oh yeah, there's like what is it, like a praying mantis or something, whatever the fuck it is. It's
praying
like
mantis
ting, 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 ting.
and a scorpion.
Yeah, they look terrible, dude. And there's awful looking miniatures. A good movie production could kind of like seamlessly put those together. And like if you look for it, especially in older movies, you could see it when you're looking for it. But you notice it right off the bat. Right off the bat, when there's like a train or like cars, like little like tiny little cars or something, or like the buildings, they're fucking miniatures, dude.
With these Zords, at least, I don't want to say tried to put a little bit more effort into it, but like they felt so off. And I think filming it in a nighttime scene didn't help because everything was so metallic on the outside, like chromy, and then it blended in with the city at night. So it didn't really have that like distinction or any of the detail really that you've come to expect, at least from the models that they used for the TV shows.
It seems like an odd choice, just like you said. Like they're choosing to kind of push the boundaries of like CG at that point, and they choose to do metallic stuff where they have to worry about like reflections like all over the place. Especially at night, you have more lights and headlights and building lights and stuff like that. So you're gonna have a handful of reflections on those things, and it makes it just not blend. So Ivan tells all of his zombies that are like the Angel Grove citizens to basically like kill themselves, and they're gonna like walk
Super
off this.
dark.
Parents of Angel Grove, you will return to the construction site and leap to your doom.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Bye-bye.
So it goes from like super campy and like fun to like, okay, just kill yourselves. And they're like gonna walk off like this edge of like and just fall to their fucking death. And the kid who's been like in and out of the movie, he just magically knows how to use a fire truck and like raise a fire truck up.
Fred. That was in my notes so many times for this movie. Fucking Fred, man. Like, and not in a good way. He's like a weird, whiny kid. It's just like, hey, I'm with Tommy. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Dad, what are you doing? I got this ooze. Whoa.
Yeah.
We
Fucking-
gotta save our dads. We
Come
gotta
on,
save our
Vulcan
parents.
Skull.
Yeah. So he magically knows how to use the fire hose, and like he's just shooting them and like holding them back from the ledge while the fight's still going on with the Zords. And of course, the battle ends up in fucking space.
I will say though, like the Zords, they put a lot of detail on the insides of the Zords. There was a lot more like blinking lights and like a lot more flashiness
like
inside
the-
than the outside.
the like cockpit dashboards looked really cool.
Yes, absolutely. And like when they all came together, I like the dual levels of the Megazord. That was at least a nice touch. But like for a space
Hold on.
battle,
Before you continue, speaking of the dual layers, Tommy is not with them for like a minute or two.
No.
And he lands on the train tracks and he saves the train from falling off by just going like there's like a breach in the tracks and just goes and they just ride perfectly on his back and somehow like stay on the fucking tracks before he goes
Because
back and then helps them.
You've never driven this Zord before, but you know the exact preciseness to land it so that it's a smooth sail right across, just so
Yes,
that they can go
pinpoint
and
precision. Pinpoint precision. Then Tommy goes back and joins him, and that's where you were talking about the dual levels, where like he just kind of drops in and goes like, and like then they're all together and joined. At this point, they're battling like the big Zord version of Ivan.
Because he
And-
somehow managed to morph into a Zord, which couldn't he have just done that in the first place and undug himself?
Yeah. Well, Power Rangers logic. Remember, Power Rangers logic. Don't put too much
We
thought
wouldn't
into
have been.
it.
We gotta hit the emergency button now. He can't
Oh,
beat
dude.
Ivan.
What the fuck? So they have this button, which is like, it looks like a self-destruct, like emergency button. Like you have to pull the panel up. It's like basically have like, are you sure you want to press this button type thing going on with this? There's like safety precautions.
Break glass only for emergency.
Yeah. And
Only if Zordon's dying.
and then what does she say? She's like taking care of business.
What are you doing? Taking care of business.
So Aisha hits the button and then the Zord knees Ivan Ooze in the fucking balls. Because dick jokes are funny.
Worst. The worst kind of ending. But at the same time, if you're just going to send somebody into a meteor, I guess kicking them in the robo-nuts is the best way to do it.
So, like, going back to that button, when else would that have been useful? So, like, they designed this button for emergency use. So the action, if you hit that button and the action is literally just a knee going like that, you got to make sure someone's fucking crotch is lined up perfectly with you when you press that button. Otherwise, it's just the biggest waste of time. Every time every time like they fight a giant villain, they're not lined up perfectly. They're like, fuck, now we got to remake that glass. And we got to
We'll
put
go
the
for
warning
another
stickers
round.
back up. Yeah.
Zordon, can
Zordon,
you put the
Alpha,
button back?
they get back to the command center like, Alpha, can you fix that fucking sign again? So the Rangers rescue Zordon by concentrating very hard.
Remember what we learned? To those who possess the great power, all things are possible.
Can we talk about how Zordon looks like a guardian of Oa, just like a little person with a head and a robe? It's just like he's gonna
like
give out
Abe-
Green Lantern rings.
Amy Jo's trying to like act it up in this.
This can't be happening.
They've always
No,
been like
Zordon,
father to
You're-
us
yeah,
all.
you've been like a father figure. This can't happen. And, like, I give her credit, like she's like actually trying to like show some emotion in this scene. But don't worry, the Power Rangers could join hands and go in a circle and just think really hard and believe in themselves. and he magically comes back to life.
And I find it interesting that the great power was not enough to defeat Ivan Ooze. They had to rely on a meteor to do that. But it was powerful enough to bring Zordon back to life.
Power Ranger logic, dude.
But I love how the rebuilding of the command center was just the destroying of the command center in reverse.
Yes.
It's literally just like, oh, I guess we'll just rewind those scenes real quick.
Yeah.
Zordon comes back, and it's this weird projector thing because you just saw him at the bottom of the tube as like a dead body head. So you would think that the head would have come from like the bottom up instead of projecting like down the way it did. So it was like, come on now, is it a projection or does he live in there? Because
so
clearly,
if he's just right in there, like, is he just sitting in like a chair? Is he like sitting in like a cockpit or something?
And they've kind of make you think about it now, because if he was just caught in a time vortex, he like the whole head was just a projection, but
like somewhere far away,
right?
You know what I
like
mean?
somewhere he's like being channeled into the tube. But
no, he's just there. He's just there.
Now in this, he's in the tube. So like does he have to get fed in the tube? Like, does Alpha have to like somehow like drop like, come on, Zordon, it's time for your feeding?
Alpha, it's 5 minutes past lunchtime. I would love to see downtime where like Alpha is just getting yelled at for like random things. Like, Alpha, you missed a spot over there. Re-vacuum the command center.
Well, I was gonna say, while the Rangers are off on the other planet getting the great power, him and Zordon are just watching the news on the viewing globe, just like, I'm running out of life, Alpha, but make sure that the viewing globe is set to channel 6 so I don't miss my telenovelas.
Dude, he probably beats the fuck out of Alpha. Especially if we know he can like get out of the tube. You know what I mean? Like, if he's right there and Alpha doesn't listen, just fucking smacking the fuck out of him.
Yeah. Zordon, please, no.
Bad Alpha.
I'm just gonna say, we had to end the movie with an epic fireworks celebration to celebrate the Power Rangers and that the city wasn't destroyed and that Fred was gonna be a Power Ranger one day too. Fuck it.
Yeah. So I guess if this movie was like successful, eventually they would have done a sequel and Fred would have been in line to become a Power Ranger, maybe like been like the young teenager protege Power Ranger or something, but that didn't happen because this movie was not a success.
It was less of a success than I'm sure they wanted it. But those McDonald's toys, though, boy, do I still have them to this day. And I still... Oh, yeah. I bring them around with my nephews. So, like, they're like the few toys that I'll take off the shelf and let them play with.
I have rules in my room. There's no touchy. There's no touching the glass. Like Zordon to Alpha, I'll smack the fuck out of you if you touch my toys. So after the epic 80s style song with the fireworks, it's credits after that. And that was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. I mean, in my opinion, it wasn't as bad as the 2017 movie, but it's a completely different comparison. Power Rangers 2017 was just fucking boring. I mean, hopefully, like, fingers crossed, at some point we'll get a good Power Rangers movie. You know what I mean? Like, obviously it's not going to be connected to that movie at all, but we get like a brand new start and they find like that right balance of like cheesy, but like kind of dark and serious. Like, did you ever see, there's a bunch of indie fan films that are out there that are fucking fantastic, that are really, really good. Like 10, 15 minute shorts that are darker and serious. Like there's one about the Black Ranger. There's one about Tommy that fucking Dawson is in too.
Really?
Yeah.
Of all people.
It's really good. I'll send you the link when we get off. It's really fucking good. At least next we have Cosmic Fury coming out, which honestly I don't know much about Cosmic Fury. I really don't, but I'm gonna watch it if Zed and Billy are there. You know what I mean? Like, I'll probably look for you for some like establishing background details about the show and then just kind of jump into it.
Cosmic Fury is gonna be pretty much new because they're using some Sentai footage, I think, for like the Zords. That's where they kind of are pulling from a little bit, but for the most part it's like new suits, new kind of preface to everything, so it's going to be interesting to see where they take it.
So at least we'll have that next, and we could jump into that next. We got Legend of the White Dragon coming out. I think they pushed it back, but Legend of the White Dragon is coming out. We're obviously going to cover that.
Oh, wouldn't miss that one. Looking forward to more episodes of No Late Fees with you guys.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Let us know down in the comments what movies you want to see us review. If you have any, make sure you like and subscribe this video because we appreciate all of your support.
Yeah, so anything you want us to talk about, definitely let us know. Good, really bad. We want it all. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here on No Late Fees. We really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And from me and Leo, later, guys.
Have a good one.